Curious. You would make an excellent Cephalon, Tenno.
Welcome to Cephalon Squared, a Warframe community and podcast. Find out how to join the collective by heading over to our website at cephalonsquared.com. Now, here are your Cephalons, Greg and Lucas.
Good day, Cephalon Collective, and welcome to episode 71 of Cephalon Squared. I am your host, Cephalon Greg, and I'm joined by the other host in this podcast, whose name is Cephalon Lucas. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Greg, how are you?
I am okay. I'm sorry, world, but my brain is not functioning as well as it usually does, so hi. I don't know what's going on. It's a weird day.
Hi.
But such is life, and we must soldier on because the news is great. And the people
Many good news.
must listen to it because, hell yeah, it's good. So, how's the weather up north? Weather rambles.
Weather rambles.
Weather rambles.
Weather rambles. The weather currently here in Ipswich is 24 degrees Celsius with a 57% humidity. It's actually been a pretty pleasant day. We have had a nice breeze coming through town, so it's been enjoyable.
Nice. Well, here in Melbourne, it's 18 degrees Celsius, 64 degrees Fahrenheit, and 57% humidity, so the humidity's the same. For those wondering what Lucas's 24 degrees is, that's 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a bit cooler down here in Melbourne, but inside my house I was just looking at the temperature and it's 25 degrees inside, so pretty similar to what it is up north for you. Wish the house was a bit cooler, but it's not. Oh well. Such is life. So there you go, everyone. By the time you listen to this, it'll already be outdated and, for most of you, in a wrong part of the world. But anyway, it's a popular segment. Listen to the weather. What'd you get up to this week?
Well, I got up to quite a little bit, actually. There was a lot of Warframe, and we'll be talking about that later on because damn good, awesome stuffs are here.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, I actually went and stayed a couple of nights at one of my mates' place, and we decided to play a game called Door Kickers Action Squad. And it's a cool little multiplayer game. It's a 2D platformer tactical shooter. It's very weird. So you have like 6 characters to pick from. You jump into your world, into your level, and you've got to rescue the hostages and kill the villains. There's a whole lot of customization, different guns, different special traits, the works. It's very RPG style as a 2D platformer tactical shooter RPG. It's
interesting.
It's a hell of a lot of fun. One of my mates actually even turned around and said this is like the budget variant to Rainbow Six.
Interesting. So I assume you kick down doors then?
Yep, you kick down doors. You can even throw bombs at doors and tactically enter rooms. It's a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Jump up on ledges and sniper through windows.
So that was on PS4?
That is, yes, on PS4. It's also available on Steam, I found out, so PC as well. Makes me think it may even be available on Xbox.
Yeah, most likely. Cool, nice. I don't remember what I got up to this week. I've played a whole bunch of shit. So I'm still reviewing that Trails of Cold Steel game, and I'm also reviewing Shenmue 3, however you want to say it. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a game.
That's a game.
So I'm playing that, which means I haven't had a chance to play much Path of Exile or Warframe. It's been a funny week. I played Warframe on Friday night with you on the PS4, which was good. We got to do some lich hunting and whatever else it was we did. It was a few nights ago now, too.
I think it was mostly lich hunting.
Yeah, and then last night we'll get into later. So, yeah, it was, whatever you want to say, a busy week for news. It started out a little bit slow, but then just frickin' sped up towards the end of the week.
Exploded with awesomeness.
Do you want to start the news?
I shall. Start off right out the front door. We've got the Prime Vault now open with Ash and Vauban. That means Saren and Valkyr are back snug away in their vault. So Ash and Vauban are now available. Go check them out. They are awesome frames.
Yeah. And there's Fragor and Vectus Prime and Axtoletto Prime and Carrier.
Yeah.
As well, so go get them things because they're all cool. Anyway, the Old Blood, which we have talked about a lot over the last few weeks, has now hit PS4 and Xbox. There is a delay still on Switch, so Switch players keep an eye out. Hopefully soon it will be released, but we don't know, and Dee will probably tell you tomorrow what's happening.
Bow.
Yeah, there's not much more we need to say about Old Blood. We covered it for a few episodes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to cover. It was a big update.
It was, but it's old news now.
Next up, a new winter collection is available in the official Warframe store. This includes a tacky sweater, an infested scroll skateboard, and a 3-in-1 ornament kit. They can be purchased separately or in a bundle.
Indeedly doodly. So basically the 3-in-1 ornament kit is, there's 3 pieces you can hang on your Christmas tree if you want, or you can stick them into a little base and just put them on your shelf.
Yay.
Pretty sure that's what they mean. Next up, there was a weird little thing that happened on Twitter Thursday, our time, I think it was, or Friday. I'm not sure if it was intended to be an ARG, Augmented Reality Game, for those that don't know that acronym, or just a preempt for the forthcoming dry dock. Now that we've seen what's happened for the rest of the week, I think that's all it was. I don't think there's going to be anything else to it, but you never know. Maybe it's the start of a longer-term ARG that's going to play out as we have a run-up into the rest of Empyrean. We'll find out.
Yes. Next up, there was a hilarious dig at Tesla, all about the, what do you call it, Greg? Cybertruck. So good job, DE. That was hilarious. Thank you for the entertainment.
Indeed. So we've got a little link to the short video in the show notes, so if you want to go watch that and laugh at Windows breaking that shouldn't be breaking, go for it. All right. And lastly, for the DE news, which is no surprise to anyone listening, I imagine, Rising Tide, which was announced on Friday, was released on Friday, US time, on PC only. And with this came the dry dock. So PC players are now building their dry docks and starting to build their railjacks. We will go into that in more detail as we also go over the Devstream. Cool. All right, now we have some Cephalon Squared call-outs.
Yay!
I will do this first one. The Xbox clan, or the Xbox people in Discord. We have not a new person. He's been around for a while, but Dutchmaster, or LA Dutchmaster, or La Dutchmaster. I don't know what you call yourself there, Dutchy. I just call you Dutchy. He is very keen to build the Xbox group. You don't necessarily need to be in the clan, but, you know, he wants to get a whole bunch of people who are more active and playing together and get some activity happening there, which I really like and love. There's plenty of people in the Discord that play on Xbox, but they all play across different time zones and not a great deal of interaction yet. So he's decided he's going to do a giveaway for Xbox players. So join our Xbox Discord. Now is definitely the time to join. Head on into the Xbox channel and you'll see information about that competition in that channel. He's giving away the Grendel bundle, which I think is something like 600 platinum or thereabouts, which includes Grendel and his weapon and Syandana. So
and alternative
it's
helmet.
A really good and generous giveaway. And the alternative helmet, yeah. Really, really generous giveaway. So get on out there. If you've been looking for other Xbox players to play with, Dutchy is out there looking for others as well. And we've got plenty of people in the Discord group who have said they're looking for more people. So get together, talk, chat, get your times sorted. Yay.
Dutchy wants you.
Exactly. And that goes for the rest of the clans and groups and platforms as well. We've got very active Switch, PS4 and PC groups as well. So if you're looking for someone, join our Discord.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to do the next one as well?
The next one's kind of your thing, so yeah, may as well.
All right. Don't forget to send a love letter to Disco Box.
Nice and simple.
I just wanted to throw that in the start there. He hasn't had one in a couple of weeks. He had one last week, but come on. We need a backlog of Disco Box love letters.
More. Okay, so next up, we only have 2 more reviews until we hit 100. So let's get there for a pre-Christmas live stream. It's going to be awesome. Let's do it, please. Also, if you love what we do, please help us by spreading the word among the community, Reddit, forums, etc. We've been going for over a year now, and we are a fan site partner, but we're still pretty small. So we need Senpai to notice us.
Hell yeah, we do. So I've been thinking about doing a call out like this for a while. I don't know whether there are people out there that just want us to stay small because having a nice small niche community that only you about feels special, that only you know about feels special, and I agree that that does feel special, but it also feels a bit of a pain in the ass when you reach out to bigger partners and they ignore you because they have no idea who the hell you are. So just on that note, when we first spoke with Xenogallion, he said to us, "Why don't I know who you guys are? You know, you're a fan site partner, you've been around for a long time, and yet I have no idea who you are. Reddit doesn't really know who we are." So this is a call out. Don't just do 2 more reviews, but get on out there and spread the word about Cephalon Squared. Let's get noticed. Basically, the more people that notice us and know we exist, the better content we can give you. We can do interviews with Tactical Potato and Steve maybe someday, but we need to be much bigger in order to be able to do that. So let's get on out there and beat the drum.
Do it. Do the thing.
Cool. All right, next up, merchandise. Did you know we have merchandise? So on our website, cephalonsquared.com, there is a merchandise button there, and basically it's t-shirts and, cups and all that kind of jazz. We have some artwork designed by both ourselves and members of the community, as well as just other Warframe artwork that we have enjoyed and curated into our store. So if you are looking for some Warframe gear, head on over. It's at tpublic.com/stores/Cephalon Squared. And there are a bunch of sales throughout November. So there's a Black Friday sale, November 25th to 27th, pre-Thanksgiving sale, 28th to the 1st is a Black Friday sale. So basically from the 20th until the 1st of December, there's a sale. And from the 2nd of December to the 18th of December, there's more sales.
More sales.
So, yeah. Given we often get people say, "Oh, let us know when the sales are," I'm letting you know, pretty much from now until December 18th, there's going to be cheaper t-shirts and stuff. So if you're interested, head on over there.
And then even then, there's probably going to be a good chance that there'll be a New Year sale straight after. So.
I would think so. Exactly. It's better than paying full price. The t-shirt, especially if you live outside of the United States, with shipping, it can be a little bit on the expensive side. So if you're thinking about getting a t-shirt, get them while they're cheap.
Yeah, do the thing.
Last.
All right. Now, I'm sure this is the part a lot of you have been waiting for. The final Captura contest has now ended for our calendar. Now, just a reminder, the topic at hand for this one was victory, and we have our victorious winners. And they are Kurova, Lieutenant Dunny, and Jody. These people had absolutely amazing shots. Overall, the quality of all the capture this time around was amazing and very difficult to choose from. But these 3 stood out really, really well, and honestly, I could not ask for better entries.
Exactly. I'll share them on Twitter, Discord, and Facebook over the next week. And when you see them, yeah, your mind will be blown because they are possibly the best quality capturer we've had thus far. They're just damn good. So, and that's...
Yeah, the stops got pulled out for this one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, not to say that the other winners we've had in previous months haven't been all equally as good, but man, there's something about this month's entries that just really stood out. So now I need to get on to making a calendar. I know how to do it. I just don't know how to make it available to people. So that is what I'll be researching this week because I'd like to make it available for sale within December. So I don't know how that's going to work. We'll figure it out. Yay, fun.
We'll work things out. It's all good.
Exactly. All right, so that is all of the news for both DE and for Cephalon Squared. There was a shitload of news this week, but now we've got a lot to talk about because There was Devstream 133 and the new Rising Tide update.
Before we jump into that, I just want to do one more quick announcement.
Are you going to propose to me?
No.
Oh.
You wish. Everyone wishes. This is just a quick reminder to people that we do actually have a Twitch channel. That we have a few members of our collective stream for us during the week. Rathox on Monday, and then myself and Greg are Friday and Saturday evening. So come check us out at Twitch.com/Cephalon Squared.
Exactly, and if you're a regular streamer and you'd also consider doing a single day, it only has to be a couple of hours on one day a week. As long as you can do it regularly and be that person for that day, hit us up. We are open for more people streaming. I do have one person that is planning on doing it, but they just need a better PC. So yeah, reach on out. It'll be great if we can have a person on every day.
Yeah. Cool.
Represent. Whoop, whoop. All right, the news. Not
over.
the news.
News is over. Into the discussion.
It is. Devstream 133. All right.
Wow.
Let me start.
All right.
Then you avoid the Cybertruck goodness. So this week, starting with a double affinity weekend. By the time you listen to it, it may be over. Yay!
Yay! Double affinity. Woo! Okay. Second up, the Switch. The Old Blood is still insert. We're waiting on news, and they will be giving some additional relics just to kind of
say sorry.
Yeah, apologize for that. A bit of a blunder.
Yeah, it's something to do with the code. So it's not that they didn't submit it on time or anything like that. It's just, getting the code right for Nintendo.
Yeah.
All right, and the next thing they did show is that little joke that we were talking about earlier in regards to the Cybertruck and broken windows and, breaking windows on the Railjack. And it's pretty funny, and you should watch it.
Yes. Now, next up, we're looking at the Rising Tide. And to start off with, the research for the Dry Dock. Can't even brain right now. Research for the Dry Dock is, of course, a clan goal. And then from there, you've got to do research for the Cephalon, the newest Cephalon Psi. That is also kind of clan related. But then once you have that unlocked, you then have to use your own resources to build your very own Cephalon Psi and then go find the Railjack parts at his demand, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much demand. He doesn't ask.
Yeah.
All right, so
you will go find these things.
Exactly. So there's probably a lot of people maybe on PC who haven't had a chance to do this, and there are people on console who are wondering how they can prepare for it. So the beginner topic today is exactly about that. I will go into detail, but I won't go into detail about any of the lore or spoil stuff. So, yeah.
There's some good stuff attached.
Indeed. All right. Next up, they showed the Equinox Deluxe skin, which is called the Antonym skin and collection. It is now in the game. It came out alongside Rising Tide. To be honest, now that it's in the game and I can see it, it looks kind of weird to me. It looks very insectoid. I'm not sure whether I like it or not.
I straight up don't like it. I do, however, like the sword and shield skin it comes with.
Yeah, actually, the sword looks nice. I was looking at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Very, very nice. Next one up, this is actually a pretty big one, and I'm fairly certain people would have been asking for this for a long time, myself included. Indeed. Zor skins are coming soon, depending on your weapon type. So look forward to that awesome goodness.
In fact, they're not just coming soon, they came with Rising Tide.
Oh, yeah, they did? Cool. Well, even better.
See, the thing about this dev stream is it was really impromptu. It was only Rebecca Ford sitting there for most of the time. Then Steve came in for a little bit. Then he started up his own stream and went off. And by the end of the show, they'd pretty much released Rising Tide. But at the start of the show, they hadn't released Rising Tide and weren't sure they were going to. So it was a lot of discussion about what was coming soon. And then by the end of the show, it came out. It was really confusing. Sorry. I took these notes while it was on, and I was half asleep because it was 6 a.m.
Yeah, I was also half asleep because it was 5 a.m.
Exactly. So. All right, now, because it was Reb Ford sitting there on her own, there was no one to stop her from showing stats. So she did. And
she did exactly
she showed off some interesting stats, actually. So the first stuff she showed was in regards to the Kuva Lich, converting them versus killing them. And originally on PC, it started out about 80-20, 80% killing to 20% converting. And then after they added trading, it very clearly switched and moved to, and has stayed fairly consistently, at 70-30. So 70% of people are killing and 30% of people are converting since they've added trading.
Yes. And now another great, glorious ad that they've decided to throw in is that the liches themselves will drop Kuva in between ranks 1 and 4. This is whether or not you beat them or they beat you. Kuva will drop. Yay!
Exactly, and the reason they're not adding it to rank 5 is because then people could just farm them for Kuva.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Alright, the other thing they're doing with the liches is they're adding a flea mechanic. So, as Lucas and I well know, because we've been doing it, you can farm the lich, because while he is active in your quest, or in your mission, he will spawn more thralls. So, basically, you just leave him there and you don't make him go away, and you can get more thralls spawning, so you can get more murmurs. But they have noticed that this is a thing, and they're going to make that go away, and if you down the lich 3 times and you don't kill him, it will then leave. It'll run away, scared.
Yes. Lich system will be iterated upon to improve the systems, so yay. More things getting fixed.
Yeah, basically they said it's still just new, and they are going to make it better over time. So, they're listening to people's complaints. Alright. Rebecca then showed off the Catchment Stats, and this was really, really interesting. So you remember the reason they nerfed the Catchment is because it was being used about 50% of the time, and every other of the 120 other secondary weapons made up the other 50%, which was a bit ridiculous. So they gave it a bit of a nerf, and it was just a little bit of a nudge, really, because it's still damn powerful. And now it's about 25% since the nerf across all systems. It's interesting because it also seems to have been affected by the release of liches. So who knows where it's going to settle at once people get bored with Kuva weapons, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. But the Kuva weapons are pretty powerful, so maybe they won't get bored.
Oh, yeah. They're very, very powerful. Next up, some amp stats looking at the prisms, and it seems that the Schwak is the most used.
Yeah, across everything. Yeah. Everywhere and everyone.
Very simple.
Alright, the next one was less simple and got us both, I'm sure, very, very excited.
Oh, yes.
Now, our hearts are fluttering. Rebecca then showed off a preview of the Sentient Tile Set. She didn't just go in and run around as they have done before, but there were also enemies in there that she needed to take out, and she went from room to room and did a little bit of exploring. My god, it looks good. There is some funky shit going on in there, and the enemies looked fun. You can actually... There was one of the enemies that you might remember from... Tenocon, that had the weapons on its shoulders, and you can actually shoot those weapons off, bit by bit. That was pretty cool. Yeah. What did you think of the Sentient Tile Set?
I think you're kind of selling it short and saying it was pretty good. It was a fucking amazing.
I don't know what I said anymore, because I meant to say it was amazing.
It was so freaking cool. I'm really looking forward to being able to explore, especially since, we got kind of like the closed corridors, and then just as she decided to finish showing us all the goodness, she went into a part where it was just like open and wow.
Yeah, it was very wow. Very exciting, but I'm pretty sure we all know that's 2020 content now.
Oh, definitely. That's not even a question.
Sad. Unless it's just completely finished and they're just sitting on it. That'd be funny. I doubt it. It's not likely the case. Alright, so one of the things they did advertise earlier in the week when they were talking about this Devstream, probably because they weren't 100% sure what they could show off and what they couldn't, was that it was going to be about the next Prime access. A lot of people speculated that it was going to be Ivara Prime, and those speculations were correct. So, Ivara Prime has been shown off now, and if you know about the original inspiration for Ivara herself, it was based on a poison frog. So they've taken that same idea, but with a different kind of animal, and applied it to a jellyfish. So jellyfish are also poisonous and they have their stingers. So now Ivara looks like a jellyfish bride. It's an interesting look. I've got to give them that. It definitely looks cool. It doesn't necessarily look prime, but my god, it's a really amazing design. Prowl, they've changed up for it as well. It's very sort of Twilight. It looks really cool. I like that. But yeah, the skin looks like a jellyfish.
I really do like the Ivara Prime look. It's very luminescent, and that looks amazing. The Prowl does look pretty cool with its cosmic kind of effect. It's a very interesting design. I like where they've gone with it.
It is, and it looks like it's coming with some armor that has an Ayatan sculpture feel to it, so it's moving and shit like that. It's cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
And then, of course, the weapons and all other goodness that's coming with the Ivara Prime access is the Axamati Prime and the Baza Prime, plus the armor that Greg was just talking about, and a Sindana. Personally, the Sindana, it's kind of meh for me, but that armor does look pretty cool. As far as the weapons go, they do look pretty good, but I'm never really been much of a Baza person.
I enjoy Baza. I don't find it an amazing gun. It is pretty good. I enjoy it, and I think I'm going to enjoy Baza Prime. I've always loved Axamati. The Axtoletto Prime replaced Axamati when I got them, but I always loved them when I was a newer player, so I'm very excited about Axamati Prime. Very excited. Alright, next up they discuss the build for the dry dock, but as I mentioned, I will cover that in the beginner topic, so hang on if you're interested in that.
Yep, and a good recommendation is to start building Mutagen Mass, Fildren, and Detonite Injectors, because expect that you will need these for the Railjack.
Exactly, and again, I'll go on about that as well. And another thing that I will mention a bit later in more detail is that there'll be 4 new resources, 2 of which you get from mining and 2 of which you get from a specific enemy drop on specific planets. Details to come.
Yes. Now, I'm going to kind of ignore a bit of your notes for this next part because you're kind of wrong. The new weapon is coming, the Corpus Gun, that shoots out rods of radiation. These will impale the enemy and deal radiation damage from the inside out, so that is cool. We're going to basically be microwaving enemies with projectiles. I freaking love this weapon idea.
Where was I wrong? What are you talking about?
You said beams and lasers.
They're the words they used in the Devstream.
Well, they were rods.
So no.
They were rods
up your bum.
of radiation.
No. Beams are rods.
But not a laser.
Anyway, we're arguing over silly semantics. I'm also shaking my fist, but nobody can see it, sadly. Alright, where are we up to? They then showed off the frame usage stats. This was a friggin' impossible to really make any sense of. Yeah. Thanks, A for effort, Reb, but what the fuck? Seriously. I couldn't make any sense of it. It was pretty clear that Excalibur was very highly used at low levels, but at high levels I couldn't figure out what was what.
Yeah.
Colours were all too similar.
Yeah, at early stages it was kind of mostly even across the board for your 3 starters, but then the colours just kind of melded into one another and it was just, okay, there's 40 colours on the screen now.
Yeah, I think numbers would have helped.
Numbers probably would have been better.
Yeah, just a straight table, but nobody likes tables except Raven. Hi, Raven.
Yeah, next up they recognize that the Zenistar duration now scales with the combo timer, which fans are not happy about. So, yeah. Hopefully with the recognition of this, we can expect to see changes.
Fingers crossed if you're a Zenistar fan. Alright, now, the overhauled Orbiter came with Rising Tide. So that means the lighting inside the orbiter is different. The layout of things is... The layout's pretty much the same, but it's a little bit wider in places. It's slightly different, and there's a massive window on the ceiling now, so you can look out into deep space as you walk towards your arsenal. It's a massive improvement.
It is. It it really does kind of... you can tell it's a different space. Like, it feels different from what it did before. You know, it's no longer claustrophobic. It's very open, and I want to say it's more comforting. I don't know. I feel like it feels better.
The words Lucas used are accurate.
Yeah.
Hard to explain why, but he's right.
Yeah. Next up, Arcwing changes. Universal Blink is here. It was showed off in the stream. Has a 3-second cooldown, but does go further. And I've been talking with some of our collective members, and yeah, some members aren't happy with these changes. They apparently don't feel great, but yeah, they're here.
Yeah, they're saying that the cooldown is too long, but the distance that you go is more than double what the Itzel went. So the distance the Itzel went, I think, was 40 meters. This goes 103, I think, each blink. So it's quite a big increase in distance, but apparently the cooldown is very unsatisfying.
Yeah. Personally, I'm not really too bothered by this because I've honestly never used the Itzel.
Yeah, and, you know, I think it's a good thing that it comes to everything else. Why? Like, one of the things I just don't understand is why people like the idea of just having one thing to go to. You have to use the Itzel.
Down with meta.
It's just dumb. Yeah, down with meta. Kill it. Make it die. Okay, so replacing Blink on the Itzel is something they're calling Arcline. It's a space version of Ripline. They showed it off on the stream as well. I'm really not sure how I feel about it. It did not look satisfying in any way, shape, or form. But Itzel still has the universal blink that everything has, so I guess it's not a massive loss, but it didn't look good.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, this next one, I think I may have actually passed out at this point briefly, so I'm not entirely sure what is going on here.
It was very dull at the end of this dev stream because Reb was sitting there listening to Steve's stream, and there were lots of dead pauses, and then she'd answer a question, and then more pauses, so understandable that you fell asleep.
Yeah. So this was dual wielding status. It's still being worked on, but no updates for now. Now, is that to do with one hand, yeah, melee and secondary? Yeah, okay, yeah.
So they said for now they're going to stick with certain melee weapons and certain secondaries. There's no update on what's going to happen with the big dual wielding that everyone was excited about. So it seems to be put on the back burner for now. Anyway, the next was another question in regards to whether or not there would be a feature in the future where you can use your converted liches as crew on your railjack. That would be really interesting, and apparently they're talking about it in the office, and it's a definite maybe.
Now, I find that funny because I've actually been talking about this exact same thing the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and based on the way Reb was talking about it, it sounds like it's more than a maybe, but more of a probably.
Awesome. Gotta love it.
So, get excited.
Yes. Which I will actually have an upcoming topic about converting liches later on in the future. I've just got a bit more work ahead of me for that one. So look forward to that. It's going to be interesting and awesome. But anyways, moving on, potentially removing the 2-hour wait for dojo room destruction. Oh my god, about bloody time.
Yeah, I don't know why that's even there. To be honest.
It's a pain in the ass, and it should go.
Yeah, if you want to destroy something, it's because you want to quickly do something in your dojo, and you don't want to have to wait for fucking 2 hours to do it.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, I've in the past I've completely destroyed our PlayStation dojo so I could rebuild it up to be more accessible and have a better structure. And it took me a total of 2 weeks to destroy everything, because you can't just destroy one room and make it break everything. No, you have to go to the far end of things and break them going backwards. And then you have to wait those 2 hours, and it's just an absolute clusterfuck and painful, and no one likes it.
Yeah, the dojo build needs a major overhaul, I think. But
yeah.
All right, next up. The question was, are there going to be any changes in the works for syndicates? This is something Lucas and I talked about in a recent episode as well, that syndicates are getting a bit stale. And basically, the answer is yes. DE is always thinking about how they can change syndicates up, because some of the stuff is a little bit outdated now, but they're really wondering what the community wants, what kind of changes they want to see. But with Railjack, syndicates are intended to work or to crew your Railjack, so you can get people who are on your side. You can utilize some of those syndicate members to work on your Railjack. So that would be pretty cool. We'll see how that works when it comes to the game.
Yay! And benefit of multiple converted liches. Trade possible ship crew. There will be a use in the future. So that is awesome. Awesome. Good things are good.
Yeah, so my notes are pretty shit, but basically there is apparently talk about what you're going to do with your converted liches, because the more you play, Jellybean's probably got like 100 by now. Hey, Jelly. Hey.
I know I'm going for my third converted lich now.
Exactly. So it won't be long before we all have 100,000 like we do freaking nanospores. All right. So, raids. Of course, this is a question they get asked all the time. This was actually a question that was not asked on the actual Devstream. I was watching Steve's stream afterwards, but I thought I'd throw this in there because he mentioned it. So basically, raids are nowhere near ready to come back to the game. Their intention is that certain aspects of Squad Link will bring some raid stuff to Warframe, and they'll see how the community responds to that. But they're at present still not sure when Squad Link will be added to the game, so it doesn't look like it's going to be part of the next expansion with Empyrean. But for now, they're just focusing on Railjack and getting the flight aspect into the game.
Yay.
So, yay and a little bit sad.
Cool.
Alright, so Rising Tide's out, Lucas. What are your thoughts?
Rising Tide's out. Oh my god. Never have I ever been so happy to be wrong.
What were you wrong about? Everything? Everything.
Oh, actually, we were both wrong about the whole thing with Railjack's not coming this year.
Just you. Just you.
No.
You never know. Maybe the rest of Railjack's not coming this year.
Yeah, maybe. But so far, we're off to a good start at being proven wrong.
Yeah.
So,
and, I like to think that they've actually done this because they didn't want to upset us. So Dee was listening to the show.
Exactly right.
And they went, fuck, Greg and Lucas don't think we can do it. Damn, we can't let those guys down. Yeah. Can't let them down. Let's do it. So they released it the next week.
Yeah. I am also very happy that it wasn't just a dojo room.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to be, okay, here's your dojo room. Now build your Cephalon and then go build your Railjack piece by piece.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. So I will be going into detail in this in a second, but basically when it comes to building your Railjack, each piece takes 12 hours and there's no rushing it. So you can't spend plat to rush it, which is a good thing, they're not trying to force people to spend real world money. And obviously they're doing this to slow people down because they don't want the day after releasing Rising Tide to have the entire community saying, when's the next update?
Yeah.
So I understand why they're doing it, but players such as myself, who only get 1 or 2 days a week to actually play Warframe, how the hell am I going to build my Railjack in a timely manner? I expect when they release the next thing, they'll probably get rid of the 12-hour wait. They might drop it down to 1.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No. Just the simple fact that they've already stated that even new players that don't have access to all these resources, they can just simply jump onto someone else's Railjack. Yeah. So I think this is kind of like this is going to stay, and it's going to be, if you've got to build your Railjack over time to have a personalized one, but you're not cut off from the game mode itself. You can always join a friend and jump into their crew.
Yeah, that does make sense. You're right, Lucas. And when you're right, you're right.
At the same time, one thing I do like about the way they're going through this whole thing is that it feels almost realistic. You don't just go, here's my resources, now I have my ship. No, like in looking at a real life kind of perspective, it's, the resources would be a steep cost, and the time to finish building would be, a bit of a wait. So I like the fact that they've actually kind of gone with this realistic feel about it.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people bitching about lots of different things. But, you can't please everyone. And in the end, I think it is absolutely necessary to slow people down because people want to have the railjack instantly.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, yeah, no, that's one of the things too. And to be honest, like, for me, it feels like an accomplishment to be building my own railjack from ground up. So I'm completely okay with the method they've gone with because it actually feels like you're achieving something.
It makes it feel like it's yours more too.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have our railjack yet, but it feels more like it's yours because it takes so fucking long.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. What do you think about the orbiter changes? Oh, you've already sort of said.
Already said that. Yeah, it's good.
There's not much else that really came with this update, is there? It's really just that's the Rising Tide quest.
Sai is an interesting character.
Yes.
And there is a bit of lore dropped with him as well. So yeah, there's some very interesting things. When you first start him up, he has a little something to say and really, really gets you thinking. And yes, many good things to be expected in the future for Warframe and Railjack and all that stuff.
Exactly.
The resources. Actually, I was looking at the new resources because I've gone ahead and I've made sure I've got just about everything needed to build Railjack beforehand. And looking at some of the new resources and their locations, they're pretty interesting. Like, I feel like there should be some lore even tied in with some of the resources. Looking at the one that you mine from Plains of Eidolon, to be precise, that one was called like the
Pustrels.
Pustrels, yes. They kind of look like infested maggots.
Oh, that's interesting.
They're very interesting. It's so it makes me think that maybe they're kind of like a leftover residue from Plaguestar.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, maybe there'll be some codex updates at some point.
Maybe.
We shall find out. All right, well, that is, because there's not a lot else in Rising Tide, and we've pretty much talked about it as we went through Devstream 133, it's probably a good transition into the beginner topic, unless there's anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Okay. There will be a lot of you out there that are wondering what the hell you need to do to be able to build your railjack and how you can prepare for it. The answer is you mostly need to wait for Rising Tide to come out because these new resources aren't available yet until Rising Tide is released. But there are a number of things you can do to prepare and make sure that your clan is prepared. The bigger your clan is, prepare to clench your butt cheeks tightly. Oh, so tightly. Okay, are we ready?
Do it.
Here is the introduction to building your dry dock and kicking off the Rising Tide quest. So the build for your dry dock for a ghost clan, which is the smallest of clans, requires 100,000 credits, which isn't that much, 25,000 salvage, not that much, 850 circuits, 15 tellurium, and 1 former. Now, the dry dock is massive, but only requires 6 energy, which they did to ensure that you probably won't have to build another reactor in order to build it, unless you have less than 6 energy available. But it also takes up a whole shitload, a technical fuckload of space. It has a 12-hour build time, and it can be rushed with former.
Platinum?
So, most clans... it can be rushed with platinum. Most clans will have no problem smashing that out, especially ghost clans. But remember, depending on your clan size, it will multiply. So the next step up is 3 times that amount. The next step up above that is 10 times that amount. So, if you're trying to get 15 tellurium now, maybe an issue if there's only 1 or 2 people in your clan. But imagine trying to get 150 or 10 former.
I think for me, looking at the building requirements, Mountain Clan 30 former, Moon Clan 100 former.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So all I can say to you out there is if you have a clan, get your people now actively doing things, possibly even actively donating tellurium and former to the clan from now. Because, if you don't have your clan all working together to build this shit, you won't be getting it anytime soon. So there's your warning. Our clan on the PC got it knocked out pretty quickly. The main clan on PS4, which is now the Cephalon Squared clan, is a smaller clan than the clan that Lucas and I are in, which is Debauchery Tea Party. And I don't think they'll have any trouble getting their dry dock up and running. Lucas and I, though, are a mountain clan.
30 former.
We are going to have trouble unless we can downsize very quickly. So, to anyone who's in the Debauchery Tea Party? Yeah, we're looking to downsize. So, I don't know what we're going to do, but we really need that dry dock as soon as possible. So get active, people. All right. So once that's built, so each individual, so building the dry dock is a clan activity. Then it's a personal activity to kick off the Rising Tide quest. But kicking off the Rising Tide quest does require a little bit of clan stuff. So there are a bunch of prerequisites for you personally to be able to start the Rising Tide quest. And the Rising Tide quest is really building the railjack. So the first thing you need to do is complete the second dream. If you are on PC or console or any platform and you haven't yet finished the second dream, you cannot build your own railjack. But you can, as Lucas mentioned, ride on other people's railjacks once that functionality has been added to the game. So if you want your own railjack, finish the second dream. The second prerequisite is that your clan needs to build the dry dock. If your clan does not have the dry dock, you can't build a railjack. So, like I said, make sure you've got your clan kicking their ass into gear to get all of these resources. The third thing is that the clan then needs to research the ship Cephalon within the dry dock. So over to the right-hand side of the dry dock, there is a research station that you can stand at that at the moment only has access to be able to research Cephalon Psi. For the clan to research Cephalon Psi, for a ghost clan again, it's not that bad. It's 4,000 credits, 5 mutagen mass, 5 detonite injectors, 5 field run samples, and 2 Argon cells. That's bugger all, really. Most clans won't have too much trouble with that. This will take 1 hour and cannot be rushed. But again, if you have a bigger clan, multiply it by whatever. For us on PS4 in a mountain clan, Lucas, does that mean 50 mutagen mass, 50 detonite injectors, 50 field run samples?
I think it might.
I'm starting to cry already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down to ghost as fast as possible. Alright, so the research for Cephalon Psi takes an hour and cannot be rushed at all. And lastly, as a player, once that research for Cephalon Psi has been done, you need to purchase the blueprint for 35,000 credits from that research center in your dry dock, and then go back to your orbiter and build Cephalon Psi in your foundry on your ship. The build for Cephalon Psi for you personally is 25,000 credits, 5 mutagen mass, 5 detonite injectors, 5 field run samples, and 2 Argon cells, so the same as what the research cost except more credits. This takes an hour to build and can be rushed for 50 platinum. So, once you've built him, you can then kick off the quest. So basically, once you build him, he'll start talking to you, and you can start the Rising Tide quest line. I'm not going to cover that now, because it is a quest. There are definitely some spoilers, but not likely anything major, and also some of it we just don't understand yet. That'll probably come more into context as the railjack gets built and as Empyrean expansion is released. So, there's a lot that needs to be done, and it's not as straightforward as you may have thought. However, we will tell you this, and I am going to go into a fair bit more detail. You need to find 6 railjack pieces, and then repair them one by one. Each takes 12 hours to repair of real time, and this cannot be rushed with platinum. Each piece requires 1 million credits, so make sure you hit the index and get 6 million credits. Note you also need to collect 4 new resources in order to build these bits, but you cannot start collecting these resources until Rising Tide is released. So once it is released, this is what you need to farm for, in order of needing to farm for them, that is. Cubic Diodes. These are farmed from Eximus units on Grenier Shipyard maps on series. We recommend the Interception, but it will take a while. You need a total of 100. And how many rounds did we do last night, Lucas?
10.
Was it 10?
10.
Yeah, so we did 10 rounds of Interception last night just to get our 100 Cubic Diodes. It was fun, though. We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Next up, you need to farm for something called Carbides. These are farmed from Eximus units on the Ice Planet tile set on Europa. We recommend the Infested Defense, but again, it will take a while. In order for me to get the 60 that I needed for the first ship part, I had to do 20 waves of defense. You will need a total of 120, though, because you need 60 in 2 separate parts. Next up, you'll need to farm for Pustrals, which are farmed from red ore veins on the plains of Eidolon, which Lucas was talking about. You need 100 of those. And lastly, you need Copernics, which are farmed from red ore veins as well on the Orb Velis. You need 120 of these bad boys. You need 80 for one part and 40 for another. So that's basically everything you need. It's not everything you need to build the railjack pieces, but they're the things I think is important to know up front, because especially the 1,000,000 credits, I recommend you start farming for those, because you really need to. You need 6 million credits.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you think we should add, Lucas, so that people understand what they are getting themselves into?
There is one thing I want to kind of add, and that is when you're going for the 5th piece of the railjack build, you will need to farm yourself 15 Argon Crystals.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Bow.
Yeah, so hold on to that one. You don't want to start farming for them now. Don't forget they do decay.
Yes. Painful.
So,
much painful.
Yeah, that's a pain in the ass. I forgot about that one. All right, everything else, though, is pretty much, you've probably already got it, so good luck. All right, on to the advanced topic. What do you got for us, Lucas?
Advanced topic. Okay, continuing part 2 of the Parazon mod coverage. So the Parazon is not just used as a new tool for hacking, but is also a new tool for executing finishes that have been named Mercies. As such an item can be utilized for multiple purposes, it is only fitting that the mods that go along with it can also accommodate its other intended uses. So now let's take a look at what the Mercy mods do. To start this list off, we are looking at the mod Blood for Ammo. This mod is a simple but effective one that restores the magazine of primary and secondary weapons by 100% upon executing a Mercy. And this mod is obtained through the demise of the infested Forward with a 77.44% drop rate. Blood for Energy is the next mod, and it operates in a very similar manner, with having a 50% chance an enemy will drop an energy orb upon executing them with a Mercy. This mod is dropped by the Corpus Ambulus with a very low drop rate of 1.61%. The third mod follows suit as Blood for Life. Again, this mod works much like the previous mods by granting a health orb upon execution by Mercy. That's a 100% chance at dropping a health orb, and this mod can be obtained by either phases of Vahek at a rate of 37.94%. Finally, stepping into a different type of Mercy mod, we have Hit and Run. This mod will grant you plus 60% parkour speed for 12 seconds, after you perform a Mercy. With a drop rate of 6.77%, Hit and Run is gained through the destruction of the Hyena Pack. And last but not least, we have Out of Sight. This mod will blind all enemies within 18 meters after performing a Mercy, and note this does not open said blinded foes to finishes. This fancy little mod is gained by sifting through the remains of one Lieutenant Lekrill with a drop rate of 8.33%. And there we have it, all the mods currently available to personalize your very own Parazon. So whether you're after something more accustomed to hacking or something a little more bloodthirsty, there is more than enough variety to accommodate your needs.
Very cool. Thank you, Lucas. I really, really like the idea of those Mercy mods as well.
They're good.
You can actually start to build something towards your preference.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
I really like it. And especially because they're separate to the Warframe. So you can actually... And there's no other stuff that makes you super overpowered. You just sort of get to choose what kind of buff you want every time you do this. I reckon that's cool. All right. Is there anything else to the Paragon mods that needs to be explained? Or is that at the end of your Paragon mods overview?
Yeah, that's pretty much the end. There was one thing I forgot to mention last week in the hacking mods. And this was mainly looking at Livewire, which was the one where, while hacking, you electrocute enemies around you. These hacking mods do not work if you're in your operator mode.
Yes, that's pretty important.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. All right, so moving on to the last sections of the show, the regular segments. What do we got next, Lucas? We've got... Love letters to Disco Box. Alright. We have none this week, sadly. Not a single love letter to Disco Box.
Bow.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. That's all. I have to sing every time. Now, if you want your letter to Disco Box read out, and if you want to profess your love for his voice, send a tweet on Twitter to @disco_box, telling him how much you love his voice, in as many or as few words as you like, preferably many, preferably hilarious. And even slightly awkward is also appreciated. Just to tell him how much you love him, and hopefully he'll record a thank you right back to you, but you know definitely I will read it out on the show, and it'll make me smile, and some of my other friends as well. So let's get on out there and write some love letters to Disco Box, because shucks, that guy's got a sexy voice. All right, next up. Community call out. All right, reviews update. So there have been a couple of new reviews this week. I got sent a new review from Trogs, I believe his name was, via Facebook, on a new platform called Podcast Republic. So thank you, Trogs. I'll read that one out in a couple of weeks. We also got a new Canadian review.
Yay!
So thank you very much. That brings us up to 98, and as Lucas said at the start of the episode, we only need 2 more to do our live cast. And keep in mind that this time it won't just be myself and Lucas, it'll be our moderators as well, at least those that can attend. So we'll be having a bit of fun. We've got a topic to talk about while we don't have questions from the audience, but of course it's mainly an Ask Us Anything episode, which we will do live, so keep an eye out for it. Alright, I do have one note before we read out a review, and in this most recent Canadian review, the reviewer had a question about things. So this comment was wondering why they could only see a small number of reviews on iTunes when we are saying we've got 98 reviews or whatever. So it is a great question. iTunes is actually siloed based on your location. So in Canada, where this person was messaging from, there are currently only 8 starred reviews, but only 2 written reviews. But overall, we actually have about 75 total iTunes reviews across all of the different locations for iTunes. So even though we have 75, you won't see them all, sadly. So hopefully that answers your question. We will get around to reading your comment on the show in 3 or 4 weeks. All right,
cool.
Did you want to read out this week's?
I shall do it. iTunes, US. Guardian of the Sky. Great podcast. 5-star. You guys are great. Keep on talking, and I'll keep on listening.
Thank you, Guardian of the Sky. You keep guarding that sky for us as well. Makes us feel good.
Yay. All
right. And last up, before we close out the episode, we have a quick Dr. Cephalon. Now, this is from Retro Sven. It wasn't necessarily a Dr. Cephalon, but I turned it into one. So, Dear Dr. Cephalon, as a beginning player, I have a suggestion for a beginner topic. Sorry if this has already been addressed. A discussion on the melee aspect of the game would be appreciated. When I first started, I didn't know there were combos. I didn't know there was a slam attack or a dash attack, etc. I thought melee was simply mashing the attack button. I'd also like to know about stances. This might not be a beginner topic, but I've heard of them. Okay, so the reason I turned this into a Dr. Cephalon is because we've kind of done a Melee overview recently, especially since Melee 2.0 came out. I explained what the changes were. Now, I'm considering how I can turn that into a more beginner topic, because that was focused really at people who knew what Melee was, and maybe just doing an overview of Melee for beginners. So this is what you can actually do with Melee. So I'll listen back to what I've already talked about and see whether or not that's a valid new beginner topic. But the last statement, basically, that you'd like to know about stances, I thought maybe we can cover that one off. What do you think, Lucas?
Yeah, I mean, we have kind of gone over this in the past. There was an advanced topic in the past where I kind of went over some of the stances.
Well, not so much go over the stances, but more what they are.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty simple topic. What are stances?
It is, yeah. So basically what they are a style in which you manipulate your melee weapon.
Exactly.
Is probably the most simplistic way to put it. So different stances for the same type of weapon is kind of like, a good example would be for the Nikana, one of which you actually hold the blade backwards. And you know, your attacks are changed depending on your stance.
Exactly. So basically, the way the stance that you put on, the stance mod that you put on, will change the way that you perform your moves. Even if you're just button mashing, it will still change things. So some people will like certain stances because they can get into a combo flow. But for some people who just button mash, it might not feel right to them because it's actually designed to do combos with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is definitely worthwhile experimenting with different stances. And when you're looking at the stance mod in your mods, you can actually press a button. It's different on each platform, but you can actually press a button to see what the combos are and what kind of attacks they are and what effect they have on the enemy. It's less complicated than it used to be, because now there's just the forward and back combo. So they've simplified things a bit.
Yeah, they've definitely simplified things. But one thing they actually don't show on when you're actually looking at the combos themselves in the game is they don't show exactly all of the things that you get from it. So what I do recommend is going and checking out the Warframe wiki, typing in your specific stance mod that you're interested in, and actually finding out all the additional stats that you gain through doing these combos, because some of them will give guaranteed slash procs, some of them will have a massive increase in damage, some of them actually hit twice for a single attack, and at the same time will do extra damage and add a slash proc or something like that. So yeah, you've really got to try and find out what ones work with your playstyle and which ones add the best bonuses that you really want to add to.
Definitely. Good tip that. Good tip is good. All right, so that's it. And basically the last thing is make sure you rank up your stance mods, because they will increase your mod capacity, especially if you match the polarity on the stance mod, but even if you don't, they'll still increase it slightly. So, alright, so that's stances. Hopefully that answers your question, Retrosven, but we may do another basic overview of Melee in the future.
Yep.
Alright, so that brings us to the end of episode 71. Anything you want to mention before we head on out?
Yep.
Nope. All right. If you'd like to get into contact with us for any reason, head on over to our website, cephalonsquared.com. Probably easiest to join our Discord. That way you've got direct access to us all the time. Otherwise, you can join our Facebook, send us an email at cephalonsquared@gmail.com, or one of the other many, many wonderful things that you can do via that particular website. If you'd like to help us out, give us a rating on your podcast platform. That is definitely one way. And again, we only need 2 more, and we will do that live stream. Let's say thank you to our patrons.
Yes, let's do that indeed. Thank you, Rathok.
Thanks, Jellybean1799.
Thank you, Lord Freezon.
Thanks, Logan Neal.
Thank you, Danathan.
Thank you, Knight Rider 8503.
And thank you, Solarian.
Indeed. So these people are honorary Cephalon level or above on our Patreon. If you'd like to join them at the end of every episode, head on over to patreon.com/Cephalon² and see what the tiers are. But thank you to them, and thank you to everyone for all of the support you give us throughout the years and months and weeks. My name is Greg Newbegin. I am Mad Capsules all over the shop. Who are you, Lucas?
I am Lucas Silvestri, and I am Silverlight all over the place. SILVRLGHT. Massive shout out to our wonderful, glorious, phantasmal community. You guys rock. I love you all. And just keep being amazing.
Indeed. Keep on keeping on. So thank you to Jan, of course, at disco_box on Twitter for the intro and outro and his fabulous voice. And thank you to you for listening. We'll see you again in another couple of days for probably Ember, I think we were thinking.
Yes. Yes, Ember.
Yes, the Ember rework overview mini. And after that, we have a very special interview next week, so we're excited about that one. Look forward to episode 72.
Very excited.
All right. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Cephalon Squared. If you'd like to contact us, reach out via our website at cephalonsquared.com, where you can find us via email, Facebook, Twitter, or Discord. But don't fret, there'll be more Cephalon Squared in a few short days. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode.